Welcome. Hello. How are you doing? Welcome to another episode of the weekly download. My name is Mitchell Dumlao, and I hope you're doing well and you're ready for a great day and you're ready to learn some stuff today because we're going to talk about paying contractors today here on weekly download because a lot of us right now have businesses. Hopefully you've evolved to a point where you have a business, or even if you have a creative project and you are delegating at this point. We've talked about the importance of delegating, and you've hired people for your shoot. It could even be a short film and you need to pay them. And it's very important that you know how to pay folks, especially when you start paying them over $600 and you have to claim that amount or let the government know and the IRS know that you hired someone for more than $600. You have to know all the different things that will help you file your taxes better so you don't get caught and have to pay extra fines or extra taxes. And at the same time, I'm going to show you ways that I use an online platform so I can pay my contractors electronically so I don't have to worry about Venmo or Cashback or Cash App or PayPal or sending a check or sending cash. It's all done in a platform that makes it super easy and has made the whole payroll and contractor payment process simple. And so, first off, you got to ask yourself, what is a contractor? So, for you, you are usually a contractor when you are working for a company. Like, if, let's say, a brand or a business wanted to hire you for a shoot, they would hire you as a contractor. That means you are not an employee at that company. Same thing for anyone that you hired. You are not hiring them for your company. You are hiring them as a contractor to execute some goods and services for your company. Now, the reason why you need to keep track of your contractor payments is that if you are a business, like an LLC or an S Corp, you are able to write off these expenses that you pay for contractors or these contractor payments. You can write them off as your expense to run your business. Now, when you're doing that, you can actually lower the revenue of your company. You pay less taxes. But at the end of the day, you need to actually claim the contractors that you pay so that you can file them to the government or IRS, because those contractors have to also claim where they got their money. At the end of the day, when you are not paying them as an employee, as a full-time employee, you're also not paying their employment taxes. So to prevent you from of course, paying their employment taxes, the contractors have to basically send in their 1099 to the IRS or to their accountant and say that I got hired by this company and I'm going to pay the employment tax or the tax on top of that payment. All right. That's why when you get paid as a contractor, it's the full payment, but it doesn't have the taxes that you need to pay as someone who is an employee or self-employed. That's why I do say you should be an S Corp or an LLC, which we'll talk about later, because then you can actually write that stuff down. Anyways, when you are paying contractors, you got to also remember that if they are paid over $600, then you have to file them. Or if they're below $600, you don't. So if you're paying extras $50 or $100, you don't really need to claim them, and they don't need to claim that on their taxes because it's such a low amount. Now, if it's over $600, you have to tell the IRS or your accountant or your bookkeeper to send the information that you get from your contractor to the IRS or to your state agency or through your accountant so that they can actually tell the government or the employment department that you've hired someone and that you are actually an employer and that whoever you hired, needs to file their taxes. Okay, it's just all part of the tax system. And so just remember that if it's under $600, you don't have to do this. I would actually consult someone as well. I've seen this online. I've done this multiple times, but this always changes with the tax code. So consult with an accountant or with a bookkeeper or a tax attorney for any of this information so they can give you the proper info. And then, of course, when you are hiring a contractor, there is the whole idea of the invoicing process. Now, as a business, you should always have a contractor or a work for hire agreement. That means you send this agreement to your contractor saying that you are work for hire, you're not working for my company, you're not an employee, and you are a contractor. Therefore, you have to pay for your taxes. Okay? And when you do sign that contract, you execute the idea and the project, and all of a sudden you're onto the invoicing stage. Then you have to ask your contractors to send you an invoice and a W-9. Okay, because that way you can show the IRS that you have hired them for this service, which can be tracked with this invoice. Okay, so it's not some random person you're giving money to. That could be a mom or a cousin or someone in your company. It's actually for goods and services. So you need that invoice. And at the same time, you need a W-9 so you can get their EIN or their social security number so that you can track payments. The government can track payments. You paid this much and this person received that much. Okay. Now, I feel that when you pay contractors, back in the day, it was all checks, or you can pay them by cash and you have to keep track. It's best to keep track for your profit and loss statements. So if you have a business at the end of the year or every month, if you have a bookkeeper, you have a profit and loss statements, all your profits and your losses, and then you can claim that or you can file that in your taxes. And at the same time, it helps you really just track everything in your business. But at the same time, when you are paying contractors, you would want to do it in a way where you can track it electronically, so everything's really easy. The way I've done it is I use Gusto. Okay, Gusto, I'm not getting paid by Gusto to do this. I just used them for a couple years, and they're so helpful. Great for payroll. So when I had employees, W-2 employees, I would pay them through Gusto, and they handle everything from filing the proper paperwork. They send that paperwork to the employee, and at the same time, there's an online dashboard for the employee, so you can access the W-4, the W-2, they can access the contract for your employment contracts, tax documents, and everything. Gusto has made it super simple. That's why I say you can also consult with them with all the proper legal rules and guidelines for this, because they would also know as well when it comes to paying contractors and employees. So I like using Gusto. Gusto is a really great way for you to track how many contractors you've hired, the way that you hire them. You can actually put in a contractor's email, and then they'll send them an email, and they'll ask for their W-9 and their other information like their bank account, so that you can send their payments electronically, which makes everything easier. And I think it's a low fee for ACH. So it makes the whole process of hiring a contractor and paying a contractor and filing taxes for the contractor super simple, because that contractor can now also have a Gusto login to access their 1099 at the end of the year when they need to file their taxes. Because in January, if you're a business, you need to send out your 1099s to your contractors. That's basically telling them this is how much I paid you and this is how much you have to claim on your taxes. And at the same time, you have to tell, of course, the IRS that you have paid these contractors this amount of money. I know it's a lot to take in. That's why I use Gusto. Gusto has been super simple and has been very helpful, and to me has made the whole process very simple and easy. Okay. And so that's, for me, the way that I pay contractors. Again, you really get the invoice, get the W-9, keep track of that. And the best way to keep track of all of this is using Gusto. It's on an online platform. And at the same time, it helps you with your profit and loss statements. If you have some kind of bookkeeping option, some people like to use QuickBooks. Some people like to use Bill.com. There's also Bench, right? There's all these great platforms out there and software that's going to help this whole accounting bit for your company so much easier than having to hire someone to do it all by yourself. All right, so hopefully this was helpful for you today. I wanted to do this because a lot of folks out there who have their own businesses go through this whole process when they start off as a videographer or a creator, and then have to become a business owner, and then they hire people. Even if it's for a short film, they have to pay people. They got to keep track of it. They have to file it. They got to figure out, how am I going to pay these contractors and make sure that I don't get flagged by the IRS. It's all really simple if you use the right platforms, and for me, I use Gusto. Hopefully you learned something today. Again, I post every single week here at the Weekly Download on Video Content School. My name is Mitchel Dumlao. If you like this video, please like, comment, or share this with anyone you think will find this helpful. And if you have any questions or want me to talk about anything else, leave a comment below or email me at mitchel@videocontentschool.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll